results. We'll move to question time. Senator Patterson.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Climate Change and Energy, Senator Ayres. Minister, Mr Bowen has repeated on numerous occasions the promise that renewables are the cheapest form of energy. Yet, since Labor was elected, power prices have risen by nearly 40%. Minister, when will power bills come down under your net zero plan?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Ayres.
I do remember, Senator Patterson, your colleague Senator Canavan on these questions at the end of the dull, dark period of inaction that characterised the Morrison period of government, saying that electricity prices had gone up by 91% when you lot were in charge of the electricity system after Mr Taylor and Mr Morrison had legislated net zero targets. After Mr Morrison went to the COP in Glasgow and then wandered around and did a big holiday on taxpayers' expense, wandering around, doing a family history tour of southern England.
Thank you. Resume your seat, Senator Patterson.
President, I'm not sure if you're listening closely to the minister's answer, but it was way off on direct relevance. I
always listen carefully, Senator Patterson, and I will draw the minister back to your question. Minister Ayres.
What I was illustrating, of course, and I'll get to your to that little part of your question that brushed with the facts, in due course. But Mr Morrison's approach was to take climate negotiations as a holiday opportunity.
Minister Ayres, to the question.
This government is taking an entirely different approach, resolving the wreckage where 24 out of 28 coal-fired power stations announced their closure or brought their closure forward, and no action, not one new generator, not any substantial bit of infrastructure under us, Senator. Don't you worry,
Ayres,
we'll get there. We've got 28 seconds.
Ayres, please resume your seat, Senator Patterson.
President, the minister is helpfully signposting that he has no intention of addressing my question by saying he'll get there. I think it's fair indication he is not being directly relevant.
I am listening carefully. I have directed the minister to your question. I take him at face value that he's going to get there, but if he doesn't, I'll remind him of your question. Minister Ayres.
Renewables backed by storage and gas and hydro is the lowest possible source of electricity generation. We are battling against a decade of inaction and inertia and policy paralysis that characterises your show, which is getting worse, and power prices will always be lower under our orderly model than your disorderly show.
Thank you, Minister Ayres. Thank you, Minister Ayres. Senator Patterson, first supplementary.
Thanks, Minister. Australians have never had it any better, Minister. Mr Bowen said earlier this month, and I quote, with investment in the cheapest form of generation, renewables, we are modernising our grid while putting downward pressure on bills. Yet more than 330,000 Australian households are facing electricity bill debt, and in the first half of this year alone, 10,268 businesses went insolvent or appointed external administrators, a 53% increase year on year. Minister, what is your message to the more than 330,000 Australian households?
The time for asking the question has expired. Minister Ayres.
My message is that electricity prices, there are two scenarios moving forward from here. One is a rollout of an electricity modernisation program with the lowest possible cost. Well, you see, Senator Patterson, there's this thing called hard work, which you may not understand. There's this thing called national effort, which you may not understand. There's these sets of principles around national interest that obviously always escape you. This is a job that we have to do to recover the wreckage that was left after a decade of policy inertia. That's the truth. That's the truth. And we have work to do to recover the wreckage that you and your colleagues left. It damaged Australia's capacity, it damaged ordinary Australians, and it damaged heavy industry.
Thank you, Minister Ayres. Senator Patterson, second supplementary.
Thank you, President. Mr Bowen earlier this month celebrated a record amount of renewable energy generation in Australia. Considering we have a record amount of what Mr Bowen claims is the cheapest form of power, will you guarantee that the cheapest form of power will reduce household energy bills next year?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Ayres.
I think I said yesterday controversially that a question that I was asked was dishonest. The question that you just asked at best is willfully misdirected, a willful misunderstanding of the position. Of course, you only need to grapple with the economic and engineering realities of this to agree with the Australian Energy Market Commission, who say delaying the connection of renewable generation and transmission into the market would put upward pressure on residential energy costs. So what we know for certain is that under your disorderly transition scenario, that prices would be higher. Under our scenario, prices will be lower than they otherwise would.
You've concluded, Minister? You've concluded your answer? Yes? Thank you. Senator Murray.